welcome Gateway Geeks. Aaron has just tried VR.
Yeah.
So what are your impressions initially, Aaron? What?
A lot of what I had expected. Very immersive. A little bit of not motion sickness, but just slight disorientation. Because the whole time I was keenly aware that I couldn't walk too far in one direction in life.
Because how tall are you, Aaron?
6'1".
6 foot. And I think that whole space is like probably 4 by 5 by 7.
No.
It's
and
it's a walk-in freezer is basically what it is.
Yeah, and also I could see with practice it could be a lot of fun. The first time I was like, okay, I'm obviously not a Jedi yet.
Yeah, you'll see as we'll put some footage up, but you'll see it's a steep learning curve.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not these are not the exact same skills one cultivates just playing like a mouse and keyboard or a controller game. It's a little bit different. So when you first when that first wave of VR washed over you, when you first saw the real like 3-dimensional image, what did that feel like initially?
A little bit disorienting because it's like my eyes were saying this is the environment you're in when every other sense I had was saying no, that's not where you are.
Don't forget. And then as you went from the first one you did was the lightsaber thing.
Yeah.
You went from that to the Van Gogh.
The Van Gogh I thought was fantastic.
Yeah.
I was very impressed with
and that's one of the free apps. I mean, a lot of like there are a lot of sort of immersive humanities sort of thing, like digital humanities stuff that is free.
Yeah, I mean, one of the main impressions I got from the whole experience was my mind is like immediately starts thinking about all these various potentials. Like, I mean, the St. Louis Art Museum could just have a ball with this.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, I think there really is the opportunity for museums, for science centers, all of that stuff. I mean, like I was just thinking, if I at some point end up teaching like an art appreciation class, I'm bringing this in because there's one of like this giant UNESCO site basically, and you can look around and you can see these Greek Tholos tombs, for instance, and
nice.
I mean, yeah, there's a lot of potential there. So upsides, like if we're doing like a pro con thing, like if you think about the VR that maybe perhaps like I kept comparing this to the Matrix and being like jacked into the Matrix, and I felt a little bit like Tank sitting over there loading programs into as you were playing. But how different was it from your initial expectations of what VR would be?
It was a little bit more immersive than I thought it would be. I mean, I thought that like I was describing earlier, the generic zombies and skeletons I thought would take me out of the game, but with what was available, I had sort of a similar experience I think you had, which was, the anticipation for the oncoming zombies. I'm like, okay, here comes. I gotta flail my arms. And so,
yeah. Well, and I mean, the hit detection isn't perfect. There's a lot. I almost feel like with VR, you're going to move away from these just like combat-centric games to more exploratory things. I feel like game like imagine how awesome Heavy Rain would be with this. Like, you don't need to have combat. Combat is actually like sort of the least organic fit for this technology.
Yeah.
I mean, it for combat, it's going to end up being like the nunchuck in Wii, where you get a lot of these games where you, like No More Heroes, where you just can't even play them because it's not fun. It's too much of just like a random, it's like playing horseshoes or something. It's too much of like real world coordination that none of us have.
Yeah. So that's big pro for me is just the immersion. Also, just and the downside, I think I've already kind of talked a little bit about it, is just the awareness of physical restraint. At one point I had to pick up a sword and I had to physically bend down, and no big deal. But I mean, if you're in an enclosed space, you could hit your head. Or,
you could hit your head. I mean, and also, I feel like one of the virtues potentially of VR is for people who maybe can't get out of their house for whatever reason, or for people who maybe have some kind of mobility issue.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm imagining, let's taking a vacation in, say, Paris.
This is the perfect opportunity, and yet you still have all these fine motor requirements for the actual technology. And to me, that's kind of like a missed opportunity.
Yeah. I
mean, I don't know if they're going to create some kind of other controller for people who maybe can't grip or whatever. But I don't know. I like where it's going. I just feel like there's still something missing, like that piece that makes it a little bit more. That like eases you into it a little bit better.
And it'll get there.
Yeah.
Because I mean, eventually, you'll have a game designer whose friend has X, Y, and Z challenges, and it's like, I'd like to play too.
Yeah. Right. And I mean, I think I was very skeptical when I first heard about VR. I thought it was going to be like the 3D movie kind of bullshit. But I mean, I have to say, like, I think the technology is legit at this point, having dropped ungodly numbers of dollars on this. So maybe I'm just rationalizing, but I think it's something real at this point.
Oh yeah, no, I definitely, and being the film nerd that I am, another thing that immediately came to mind was, okay, so you've got this Disney thing that's got lots of money, and hires like insanely talented creative types. And they also own the intellectual property of Tron. I want so badly to light car race in a VR.
That seems like a reasonable next step.
Yeah, I mean,
All right, so I guess for our next, do you have a final impression, Aaron? Besides Tron.
Yeah, Tron. I'm looking forward to seeing what comes next. I myself am likely to wait till another iteration or two later, once the kinks get taken out.
Yeah, and I mean, what I'm hoping is that this technology persists, or the hardware persists a little longer than a console would say.
Right.
Because the issue at this point is really more like software than hardware. I mean, I think that the hardware is kind of built to accommodate all kinds of things that have not yet happened in the actual design of the software and the gameplay. So I'm hoping that the games step it up a little bit.
Right. And also because this is as new as it is, I'm anticipating there being some difficulty with proprietary hardware and software. So
well, right, and because every particular technology is locked down to a specific set of hardware, or I mean, like for instance, Google Cardboard. You can use certain smartphones, usually Android phones because it's Google. Probably some iOS stuff. HTC Vive is just Steam. Oculus Rift is some Steam, and I think it crosses over to Xbox. Is it gonna be Xbox One?
I'm not sure, but I mean, right now, because it's the new hotness right now. I don't want to buy beta if VHS is going to be the winner.
Speaking of that, we have to talk about VR porn. Speaking of VHS,
hi Mom.
I can honestly say neither of us has any experience with this, but this is going to be a major driving force behind this technology. I mean, like,
well, yes. I mean, the rule 34 applies to everything. It's
I just like as I was going through the process of just figuring out, I mean, like when I got like I've overclocked, I got the 10. Everyone's already seen this on the blog, so I'm not going to go into all the hardware I got, but I'm spending all this money, and I'm like, if I weren't just a technophile, if I wasn't just entertained enough by building this thing and seeing it work, I could see being really pissed off that I spent all this money and all I'm getting are these somewhat like piddly, like digital frontier games.
Yeah.
I could totally see someone being like, you know what? I spent all this money.
Yeah, right.
and my impression, I just thought back to being like a teenager and just like thinking I'm alone in the house and not being. When you're wearing, the reason this comes up is when you're wearing the headset and you have think about it. You have this mask. You can see Aaron on in the screen. Have a mask, or you have the headset. You have the headphones. Mm-hmm. You're in the dark.
Yeah.
You're not aware of your body.
Yeah.
This is gonna. There's gonna be like some real fucking awkward YouTube videos in the next 2 years. that I don't wish that on anyone. No. It's gonna be horrifying.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Yeah. Well. Yeah. You'll no doubt have. We can anticipate people in the real world have figures like ours, with being, other, being, Anyway,
this shit is going to end some marriages.
Yeah.
But the technology itself is very interesting. So I guess tune in next time. Aaron and I jointly do this VR vlog. We'll probably be trying out like an actually legit game of some kind.
I really think you should try to.
The music game,
Audio Shield.
Audio Shield. So maybe that's what we'll do next time is Audio Shield.
That would be cool.
That sounds cool. Okay. All right. Well, so check out our podcast, Gateway Geeks, episode 14. Yeah. What do we call it? No fucking idea. It's really late. We've done a lot. It's